problems. That guy, he just has to touch you once.
Shit's going down.
He's so different than anybody else in the division. Like, he knocks everybody out. Everybody hits hard. They all hit hard.
But
that
shit
fucking
down.
dude hits hard.
Set that Jake Paul can come 15-20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other.
Joe Rogan has reacted to Anthony Joshua's intense new training routine for the rumored Jake Paul fight, and his reaction says everything. After watching leaked clips of Joshua throwing powerful combinations and training with world-class coaches, Rogan called the former heavyweight champion terrifying. He warned that Jake Paul may have finally taken on a challenge he cannot talk his way out of. Rogan said Joshua looks more focused, faster, and meaner than he has in years, and believes the fight could end brutally and quickly if Jake steps into the ring.
Need to get stronger.
Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight will be a fully sanctioned professional heavyweight match under the Marquis of Queensberry rules. They will fight for 8 rounds, each lasting 3 minutes, and both fighters must wear 10-ounce gloves. Anthony Joshua must weigh no more than 245 pounds to keep the fight competitive. The result of this match will be added to both fighters' professional records. This will be a real and serious fight.
This is going on people's records. AJ got to take him serious because this isn't some exhibition. We're running out some judges to act like there's a decision and someone won. No, someone's going to win, someone's going to lose here. It's 8 rounds, 3-minute rounds. Again, heavyweight, pro bout, 10-ounce gloves. AJ talking about breaking internets over faces. I think he meant to say breaking his face on the internet. Who knows? Maybe you can do both in the big 2025. But then you have the weight limit, 245 pounds. And people are automatically going to go, oh, God, here's the thing. Oh, here's the thing in the contract. No, stop all that. And I'm going to go on a rant in a second for all the people that thought this was fake, for all the people that thought that Jake wouldn't do this, for all the people that thought he was scared. I'm going to go on that rant in a second. But, okay, yes, 245 is a weird number because Jake has already fought at heavyweight. He fought Mike Tyson at 220-something. But again, I understand it a little bit. We're on short notice here. You don't want to have a Tyson Fury type situation, which AJ would never be 290 coming in here. But 260, 270, it starts to get out of the realm of possibility of, like, what are we doing here? Even though heavyweight has no limit,
CEO of Most Valuable Promotions, MVP and Jake Paul's main promoter, told Sky Sports that the December 19th fight with Anthony Joshua is a massive global event. He said that although Joshua is more experienced, Paul's strong and sometimes delusional confidence could be the X factor. Berrien called the fight a symbolic clash and explained that their team worked quickly to make the fight possible, finishing the plans and negotiations in a very short time. He also confirmed strict weight limits and full professional conditions to make it a serious, high-stakes event. Berrien also told Sky Sports that this fight with Anthony Joshua is much less of a mismatch than Joshua's previous fight with Francis Ngannou. He said that Ngannou was a huge man but did not have real boxing experience, which made that matchup uneven. In his view, Jake Paul has grown fast in boxing and now has enough skill and ring maturity to make the fight with Joshua more competitive.
Hey, will there be a limit for Joshua?
So there's a lot of discussion around the weight. Joshua fought Usyk twice. Both of those times, Usyk was 221 pounds. Joshua was 240 to 245. When Jake fought Mike Tyson last year, 227 pounds. I expect Jake will come in anywhere between 225 and 230, and Anthony Joshua has a weight limit of 245 pounds.
There will be those, as you're aware, that will look at it and criticise this fight. There already have been, haven't there? They'll say it's a real mismatch. What would you say to them? Are we going to be watching sport at its purest?
I would say it's much less of a mismatch than what you saw with AJ and Francis Ngannou, who a massive man, but relatively no boxing experience. I would say it's much less of a mismatch than AJ's 9th or 10th fight against guys who've been knocked out 20 to 25 times. Given AJ's pedigree, Jake is built for this. Jake is built for the big moments. So do I think it's dangerous for Jake Paul? Absolutely. Do I think it's also dangerous for Anthony Joshua? 100%.
For many boxing experts believe, Jake Paul is taking a huge risk by fighting Anthony Joshua. Former cruiserweight champion Lawrence Okolie warned that Joshua's size and power make the match a serious danger to Paul's health. Former two-time world champion David Benavidez also said that Paul is walking into a dangerous trap because Joshua has so much experience at the top level of boxing.
100% respect to Jake Paul, but that's a dangerous fight for him. He probably gets knocked out, and I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not saying nothing bad, but Anthony Joshua is Anthony Joshua. You know, he's multiple-time champion, Olympic gold medalist. You know what I mean? The last time somebody stepped in the ring with him that didn't have that much boxing experience was Ngannou, and you've seen what happened to him. Yeah. But big respects to Jake Paul. It's gonna be a good card. You know what I mean? It's a big fight, and it's a good fight, man. I give 100% respect to Jake Paul for even taking that fight.
The Ring 4, November 22nd. Watch only on DAZN.
Carl Froch has criticized Anthony Joshua for choosing to fight Jake Paul, saying that AJ is basically cashing out. Froch believes Joshua has already earned a lot of money and experienced championship success, so he seems more focused on money than legacy now. Froch feels Joshua has nothing left to prove in traditional boxing and is choosing the easiest option that still gives him a big payday.
What else have we got to consider? Is AJ cashing out? Well, I did say a year ago when he got splattered by Daniel Dubois that he's finished now. He won't get that confidence back. He's not had any confidence, you know, in his head. No belief for a long time. And I don't think he can get back to world level. There's a couple of new young guns now coming up and coming through. It's like a changing of the guard. And when Usyk retires, I don't know what Daniel Dubois is going to do next, but I don't know what Daniel Dubois did to him. Then he went on and lost to Usyk. But there's a few new heavyweights coming through. Moses Atalma, just to mention one. And you wouldn't start putting AJ in with any of these young up-and-comers that can punch hard, because I just don't think he's got the chance, because the ambition and the desire is going to be gone. So AJ most definitely is cashing out, and you can't fault him. Fair play to him. He's going to get a massive payday, maximise his exit route by fighting fake.
Some boxing fans believe Jake Paul actually has a chance to beat Anthony Joshua, and they are putting their faith in his power. Even though he is known as a YouTuber turned boxer, Paul has shown real punching strength in his previous fights, where he has knocked down or knocked out several opponents. Tyson Fury recently predicted that Paul could knock AJ out, saying Paul has gained size and power at heavyweight. Paul has also claimed many times that Joshua's chin is weak, and that one clean punch could finish the fight early.
He can win? Jake Paul?
I think it's a possibility. No one is backing Jake Paul currently. You've seen him in the ring. You can see that he's got some knockout power. And I also believe people don't look at Joshua's last few fights. And I don't think it's going to be as big of a landslide as people feel. I feel like there's an overhand right that could easily land, and I wouldn't predict that Joshua's chin can last that. The problem is that all of the pressure's on Joshua at the moment. So Jake Paul, if he gets knocked out in 12 seconds, he should get knocked out. The problem is, as soon as Joshua starts taking damage, all of a sudden he's thinking, the world is watching me. I'm a professional fighter, and I'm getting beat off a YouTuber. All of the pressure is in Joshua, and that's a lot that can weigh on a man. You can't deny that Jake Paul has power. I think it's one of his only attributes. I think he's a very poor boxer, but what he does have is a weird technique where you don't know what
How do we know he's got power? How do we know he's got power?
He's knocked people out. Joshua has all of the world looking at him thinking you should walk him over. If it gets 2 rounds, 3 rounds inside, I think Joshua loses.
Many people are calling this a David versus Goliath matchup. Jake Paul, who built his fame through social media and lighter weight boxing, is facing Anthony Joshua, a huge heavyweight with championship experience and a major physical advantage. Joshua is seen as Goliath because of his size, power, and skill, while Paul is the underdog who is relying on his heart, determination, and courage to make the fight competitive.
Judge Anthony Joshua for getting the bag, as the kids say, for going to wherever the fight's going to take place and taking $92 million for going up against Jake Paul, right? You can't give him for that. You can't judge him for that. But don't try and tell me that this is a real professional boxing contest. I'm saying my guess is that this will be an exhibition matchup. And if it is, it'll be one hell of a show. And I'll certainly tune in. And fair play to both men because they're making an absolute goddamn killing. But what is going on? Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. It's a lose-lose for Joshua. It's a win-win for Jake.
One big concern about Joshua fighting Jake Paul is that AJ has only fought twice in the past 2 years. After losing a split decision to Alexander Usyk in 2022, Joshua fought less often. He defeated Robert Helenius in August 2023 and Otto Wallin in December 2023. then knocked out Francis Ngannou in March 2024.
Anthony Joshua is his activity. He's only fought twice in 2 years, and one of them he got knocked out off Daniel Dubois. That was his last fight, and a lot of people say you can only judge a fighter's quality from their last fight. And then the fight before that was a win, but it was a win against Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, if you know, he was the UFC heavyweight who's not a real boxer, and he only had one fight before that boxing fight, what he lost as well. So that's his activity in boxing. Now, Jake Paul, on the other hand, looking at his box rec, he's had 6 fights since 2023. And one of them was against Mike Tyson. But we all seen what happened in that fight. Mike Tyson was well past his prime. Where Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, is, well, I'm not going to say he's coming into his prime because he had some great wins earlier on in his career before he lost to Usyk twice. And by the way, when he did lose to Usyk, the last one was a split decision. It was a pretty close fight. So now this fight is matched, and I just want to look at the tail of the tape. Now, looking at the age difference, we've got 28 years old compared to 36 years old. So I guess the advantage there goes a little bit towards Jake Paul. 28-year-old is better than a 36-year-old. But that being said, we've got talking about experience and everything else, what comes with being 36 years old at Anthony Joshua's level. And then, like I mentioned, the heavyweights kind of seem to prime a little bit older. Now, come down to the height and the weight. This is the big one. 6'1" versus 6'6". 200 pounds versus 252 pounds. We got a 252 pounder in Anthony Joshua. The reach advantage is a lot, which we would expect. Amateur fights, we can see that Jake's only had one, where AJ's had 43, but 43 of them are including at the highest level, Olympic level. And yes, he won the Olympic bloody gold medal, if I don't need to remind you. Then the pro record, Jake Paul has had 13 fights, lost 1. AJ has had 28 fights, and he's lost 4 with 25 KOs.
David Haye has given a serious warning about the upcoming Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, calling it a clear mismatch. Speaking to Sky News, the former heavyweight champion said Joshua could cause horrible damage to Jake Paul and that he fears for Paul's safety. Haye even suggested the fight could be Paul's last day on earth, showing how dangerous he thinks the matchup is. The physical difference between the two fighters is huge. Anthony Joshua is 6 feet 6 inches tall with an 82-inch reach, while Jake Paul is about 6 feet 1 inch with a 76-inch reach. Joshua usually weighs between 240 and 250 pounds. But for this fight, he must stay under 245 pounds. Paul has fought mostly as a cruiserweight and only recently gained weight to about 227 pounds for heavyweight fights. This size and weight advantage gives Joshua a major edge in power and reach,